It's your weekly breakaway for fun conversations on pro cycling and so much more. Join us as we go beyond the slipstream. I'm Matt Harper, and together with my brother Justin, we'll do deep-ish dives on bike races, movies, bands, and all manner of shiny pop cultural objects. Oh, and did I mention bike races? We're kind of obsessed. Allez!
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Slipstream. I'm Matt and this is my brother Justin, and today in our first two segments we'll complete our Tour de France 2025 coverage with full analysis of the final week in the biggest bike race in the world. But don't you fret, for just as the men's race is coming to its end, the women's is popping off. So we'll dedicate segment 3 to the opening weekend of the Tour de France Femmes Avec Zwift. And no Beyond the Slipstream podcast would be complete without a ride up Montmartre and down the Champs-Élysées in the Broom Wagon. Allez! Please note, this segment will contain spoilers. The consensus among the cycling punditry, if not the teams and riders themselves, is that in recent years, the level of racing and aggressiveness of the teams in the Tour de France has meant that it's getting harder and harder for the breakaway to succeed. And just as we were all resigning ourselves to that sad fate, the 2025 Tour happened, where wins from a breakaway came in arguably 10 different stages. As we turn our attention in this segment to stages 17, 18, and 19, we find a sprint win for Lidl Trek's Jonathan Milan, his second in the Tour, in stage 17, followed by, you guessed it, two brilliant wins from the breakaway. In stage 18, Jayco's Ben O'Connor got the elusive second Tour de France stage win he's been chasing since his first, way back in 2021, while Thymen Arensman of Ineos Grenadiers turned that team's tour from salvageable into a bona fide success when he completed a totally unexpected double after winning 6 days earlier on stage 14. These were two pretty satisfying wins, but since Ben O'Connor has had to wait 4 years, not 6 days like Arensman, for his Tour de France two of a kind, let's do him the service of starting with him. Justin, this man knows how to target a stage, make a plan, and execute. How impressive was this win?
I feel like this is like his specialty is he targets a day and he runs away with it. And, you know, he drops Rubio, and that was it. He was gone, man. And he looked strong as death the whole way up. And, you know, Col de Los is not for the faint of heart. I mean, it was a pretty gruesome day of climbing that he had to get through to be able to get on the other side of that with the win. And let's not forget that he beat two of the best climbers in the world. All right, let's not forget that, yes, he's on a breakaway, but it is likely on a stage like this that everything, you know, comes back together and those guys take off. And it didn't happen. He was able to stay away, and it was an absolute great win. And, you know, I feel like this is going to give him such a boost of confidence on that new team.
Wait, he's going to a new team?
No, his new team. Him being there because he left Decathlon.
Oh, yeah, on Jayco, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like, you're exactly right. Like, he knows how to pinpoint the stage and just get after it on that stage. And I like guys like this, you know, where it's like, you know, they know their limitations, but they also know what they're capable of. And the way they're able to read these stages and just kind of see. I mean, this is basically the queen stage of the race, right? I mean, this is the three big climbs. We were joking about this last week. It was like 2.5 pyramids with an HC at the top of each one on the profile. And, you know, he just kind of kept it there or thereabouts until they got to the final climb. And then, or maybe it wasn't even the final climb. It was 41 Ks to go. They're in that group with like Felix Gall, Matteo Jorgensen. I think Arensman was still in there, and Ina Rubio. And Matteo is kind of pulled off to the side. He's talking to Felix Gall or something like that. And all of a sudden you see Ben O'Connor just blow past those guys. And Rubio is the only one that's paying any kind of attention. He goes with them. The rest of them are just like, yeah, whatever. That's not going to work. And like, boom, it was on like Donkey Kong.
Well, Mateo dropped back, and obviously eventually to grab, go and help Jonas. I mean, he essentially abandoned the breakaway, and it split them up. And in that moment is when Ben and Rubio, but mostly Ben was able to capitalize on that brief moment of hesitation with Gall, and Mateo left. He was done. He wasn't going for the win, and that's all it took. Because I mean, he's a great climber, and he went straight after it, just like you said, and never let off the gas the whole way up the hill.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of interesting stuff happening in this stage. As we said, it's the Col de Glandon, the Col de Madeleine, and then the Col de la Loze stage. Absolutely brutal, just like 3 giant climbs. Boom, boom, boom. There's a intermediate sprint point in the beginning.
Yep.
Trek is up front bossing it. Jonathan Milan grabs those sprint points. No surprise there. And then the minute the intermediate sprint is done, there is just like all kinds of activity. You got Tim Wellens, Quinn Simmons, Wout Van Aert. Everybody's popping off the front. And then we get the one moment throughout basically the entire race where you're just like, is Primoz going to do something special? Because Primoz like launches this solo attack, and of course it was all for naught. But like for a minute there, one could dream.
Yeah,
one could dream of.
It just looked like he went for a ride by himself, and eventually was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot I'm Primoz."
Yeah. So one thing we do got to talk about though is the whole like Lenny Martinez thing that happened here. So you know what happened with Lenny and his sticky bottle on this stage?
Yes, well, and he lost. They docked him, I think, 8 points, right?
Yeah,
Something like that.
They made sure that he would not have the KOM jersey. He wins the first climb over the Glandon, and you're thinking, all right, he's in it to win it. And then you see the sticky bottle. Did you see the video of the sticky bottle? It was pathetic. I'm sorry. Like, first of all, he didn't even take the bottle on like the last. I mean, first of all, they gave him like 4 boosts. Like he was back there by the team car, and they're pushing him up, and he's talking some more, and they're pushing him some more, and then finally in the last one, like they give a big old fucking push. He's holding on to the water bottle, and then like he doesn't even take the water bottle with him. It's like, bro, you're a cheater. Like enough already. Like I'm done. Like, I was ready to get behind. Like Lenny Martinez is like, maybe he's the French guy that comes up or whatever, but you know what? I'll get on Vokalon, I'll get on Pari Pantra, but I'm done with Lenny Martinez. That was weak.
Yeah, and then it was a bad look, and I think they got it right by docking him the 8 points, and deservedly so.
Yep. So good work from Visma Lab. You got Arnsman and Jorgensman out front, like a little fuga to fuga break away from the breakaway. Yates and Koos like destroy the entire bunch. Leipowitz is the only one that can hang in there.
Leipowitz.
And they get it down to just Koos, Jonas, and Pog. Jonas puts in an attack 70 Ks to go. Pog locked on his wheel as we'll see throughout this entire race.
Unfazed.
Mateo takes him up to the top of the Madeleine. Jonas actually wins one sprint in this whole race at the top of the Madeleine, and like gets the King of the Mountain points, but it was utterly unremarkable. And then 41 Ks to go, you get the O'Connor and Rubio move. Leibowitz tries to put in a little move ahead of the final climb, but basically it was his undoing. I mean, he brought it back. Leibowitz, let's talk about him for a second. He is definitely a big hope for the future. German Tour de France winner, that would be insane. I think it's a major learning curve, this Tour de France, because he didn't win any stages, but he got on the podium. I guess we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves since we're not talking about the end of the tour until the next segment, but whatever. But I feel like he needs to learn a little bit about how to measure his efforts. You know what I mean? And how to.
He's super young, but I think that with some seasoning and, like I can see him winning a Dauphiné or a Paris Nice or something where like, the biggest guys aren't there. You know what I'm saying? If he's up against Remco and Primos and, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he could take any of those guys. And, you know, what I wonder too with him is what's Red Bull going to do if they bring in Remco? All the chips go to the Remco. You know, where does that leave him as the Juan Ayuso on a mediocre team?
If I was him with Remco coming in, I'd be looking for another team immediately.
Immediately, yes, exactly.
I don't know what his contract situation is, but I mean, Red Bull is like kind of a quote unquote super team with all the money behind him and everything like that. But you're going to get into the same situation that you're in this Tour de France, which is two different leaders or whatever. And I mean,
I agree.
I think here's a better question. What would this Tour de France have been like for Lipowitz if he was the designated GC guy from the start? You know?
And Primos is his João Almeida.
Or Primo's is not even there, but like just more the question is more about like if just the whole team was dedicated to him from the start, then is he challenging Jonas for second?
Oh, I would think.
I mean, I don't know. Jonas was the only person that can hang with Pog on any of those breakaways, so regardless, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how many times in this race.
When we get to the other side of this, we'll talk more about that. But yes, okay, we're in agreement. This kid's got nothing but upside. I think that he is a very strong climber, and he goes into this tour completely untested in a 3-week stage race, and he came out on the podium. Right.
And with the white jersey, and
the white jersey.
Massive success.
Completely makes it a success for his team. I mean, it's, in the era of Pog, a podium place is pretty fucking great.
It was interesting that they pointed out when they were all standing there on the podium at the end too, that like that was the exact podium from the Dauphiné.
Yes, it was
as well, which kind of says something. I mean, it really that says something, Well, what do we want to say about stage 19 the following day with Tymon Arnsman getting his second win?
Love to see this. It was just the emotion on his face when he crossed the line was something else. What I want to say about is his interview on this stage, best interview of the tour. Did you see his interview on this stage?
Refresh my memory. I feel like I watch it, yeah.
So he says that he called Tade and Jonas aliens and that he is just a human.
Yeah.
And it was so heartfelt, and like you could just see that like in this era now, when you beat these guys, like that actually really holds a lot of weight. Like if you can say that Paul came in second to you, that's a big thing. You know what I mean? You can be like, oh yeah, on that day I beat the greatest guy that ever rode a bike.
Right. It's like you could win a monument and you're like 40 years later you're sitting in a cafe and somebody's like, "Oh, you were a pro cyclist? What was your greatest hits?" Well, once I beat Tadej Pogačar.
Yeah.
What else did you do? Oh, I won Milan San Remo. But once I beat Tadej Pogačar. You know what I mean? Like the order of importance.
They're like, but isn't that a monument? Yeah, but don't you understand? Like I beat Tadej Pogačar.
Anybody can go out there and win a monument.
yeah. They've been writing monuments for years. It's like not only a few people in life can say that they beat Tadej Pogačar, but no.
We will be saying more along those lines in our next segment. But let me ask you this though, as I stated in the intro, do you feel that this win took Ineos's tour from like, not catastrophic to okay, we'll call that tour a success.
Uh,
I feel like one stage win would have been just shy of catastrophic for Ineos, given the history of that team in the Tour de France. To come away with a single stage win, I mean, no stage wins catastrophic. One stage win, salvageable.
I mean, 2 stage wins makes it a successful tour, especially considering that they lost C-Rod like pretty early in, and so.
And Filippo Ganna, don't
Oh
forget,
yeah,
he didn't even
like
he didn't
day
even
one.
get to contest. I think, yeah, considering the loss of C-Rod, whatever, he's whatever, but considering the loss of Ghana, who definitely could have contested Remco in that stage 5 TT, Ghana wouldn't have come close on the second TT, but
I bet he would have surprised you on the second TT.
okay,
I do.
agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Dude, it was straight uphill the entire time. The guy's an elephant. Um. Anyways, yeah, but so you would say pretty successful tour, all things considered, for Ineos.
Yeah. Garen Thomas's last tour. But I think coming away with 2 stage wins makes it a success. I think you're right. 1 stage win would have been a pretty disappointing, turnout. And, look, all things considered, especially to pull out 2 wins with Thymen Armstrong is, unexpected and in the best way possible.
Yeah, good for him. I know G likes Timon a lot.
Oh yeah.
He seems like a cool guy. He's been on G's podcast, and I will say this: he got kind of lucky on this one. There was no cohesion in the group chasing him. Like, and if you'll notice, like, they were right behind him when he won this stage race. Like, they were like 5 seconds behind him,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that.
They were
So,
definitely in the shot when he crossed the line.
yeah, so he got lucky, but good on him, and I'm always happy for Ineos Grenadiers. So let's put a pin in there so we can put a little bit extra time into our next segment. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back to talk about stages 20 and 21. Please note this segment will contain spoilers. Alpecin de Koenig's 2025 Tour de France journey was a strange one indeed. It started with the highest of highs, a stage win and yellow jersey on stage 1 for their sprinting superstar Jasper Philipsen, followed by a stage win and yellow jersey the very next day for Jasper's superstar teammate Mathieu van der Poel. But 2 days after that disaster occurred when Philipsen left the race after crashing out in an intermediate sprint. Van der Poel managed to keep Alpecin in the conversation thereafter, coming tantalizingly close to winning on 2 subsequent occasions before suddenly and unexpectedly leaving the race with pneumonia, of all things, after stage 15. Most pundits would have written off the remainder of the tour for the team, given the profiles of the remaining stages and the available riders left. But Caden Groves had other things in mind. I loved this win, but little did I know it was just an appetizer for what we got on the new version of the final stage of the Tour de France the very next day. Justin, let's snack on Caden's stage 20 win to start and feast on Wout's masterpiece in stage 21 to finish this segment and our coverage of the 2025 Tour de France. Go.
The rain is, the thing that I remember the most, was
in both stages.
This. Yeah, but I feel like the rain in stage 20 felt like scarier. Like, yeah, you had cobbles in yesterday or in 21, but I don't know. My very first note was this rain is going to cause a wreck. All right. And then my next note is, and boom, hard overcooked corner. Oh, Romeo hitting the curb. Gruesome. Which it was. All right. This is the moment where, like, he, capitalizes on this rain-soaked landscape and jumps ahead. And you're just like, is Caden Groves just jumping off the front of this race? Like, what's going on here?
Incredible. I mean, like, I love these guys. I mean, one of the guys in the commentary was basically like, we all thought it was Caden Groves sprinter. Is it Caden Groves breakaway specialist? Is that who this guy is? Like, because if he's in the Vuelta a España and there's a bunch of scrubs there, like he's mopping up every single freaking sprint, like no problem. We've seen him do it already. But like this, I mean,
Yeah, you didn't see it coming.
yes, he's just
Him-
he's a special rider, man.
Him in
This
that
guy.
him in that group was weird. Okay, because you know it's like, what a strange group of riders. And then like I said, it was weird because the rain is really bad, and when Romeo goes down in that corner, you're just like, I mean, he hit so hard that I was just like, and I was distracted from the fact that there went Caden Groves. See ya,
Well,
bye bye.
well, and keep the focus on Groves in that crash too, because if you watch the helicopter shot, Groves, he gets on those brakes when he sees that shit going down, but what he doesn't do is he doesn't start his turn. He stays straight
Yes.
almost until he goes right off the course. Like he's off the course. He's not trying to stay on the course because he knows you got to stay upright here. So don't start turning. Just slow down. You got a long way left in this stage. Don't crash here. Don't go down. Keep it upright. And that's what he does. And he slows and he waits until he's almost to a complete stop. And then he turns the bike and heads on up the road while Romeo and that other guy are crashed out all over the floor. And you got to hand it to him. Like he handled the business.
Capitalizes.
Yeah. I mean, and then just gets out there in front. And I'll tell you what, to me, like this stage is just about, it's about the drama. Like it's about the drama of, okay, number one, when you contextualize the whole thing against the race for Alpecin, okay, and that the whole thing on Alpecin, like Caden is this guy who is like, he's like the third wheel on Alpecin by a mile. You know what I mean? He's like, it's like Vanderpool, Philipsen, and then Groves, and then the rest of the guys down here. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not even in the conversation with those two, even though this man has got Palmares, and he has now become the 114th man to get the Grand Tour stage win treble.
Yeah.
Do either of those other guys have that?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's won green jerseys in Grand Tours. Like this guy's is the real freaking deal, and he's not just a flat stage sprinter, and he's not the fastest. He's not as fast as Merlier and Philipsen, but you get him in the mix on some other kinds of stages, and sky's the limit for Caden Groves.
Well,
man. I freaking love this man.
Way to like plan out when you've lost your two big names, and you get to the end of a tour, and you see like, oh, you know what? If we played this stage right, like Caden's feeling really good. Like if we can get into a break, let's go. And capitalize on it. They did. In it's a testament to persevering through all of the trials that you go through and not giving up and getting a late stage win out of nowhere, unexpected from a rider that no one's expecting it from.
Incredible. And it's just like, it goes again for me, it just goes back to the story. It's like he was there, he was doing the workhorse, he was in the mix. I mean, we remember stage one. Like we talked on this podcast about what a beautiful lead out that Philipsen got, where you just saw each one of those guys in turn. First it was the guy that was with Vanderpool on that breakaway. Which guy was that? Why can't I remember that guy's name? Anyways, it was that dude, and he peels off, and then Caden Groves is the next one, boom, and then he peels off, and then Matthew Vanderpool's the next one, and he peels off, and then Philipsen dusts everybody. And there was definitely a shot at the end of that stage where you see Caden Groves just happy as can be, hugging Jasper Philipsen, like, oh yes, this is so great, you know what I mean? And you see stuff like that, and then you start casting it forward, And, he wasn't really a part of anything for that whole like middle part of the race. Vanderpool is like, does these two different like crazy attacks. One was the solo with the other guy whose name I couldn't remember. And then a couple days later, it's him trying to chase down the break. You remember we got sort of both versions of the Vanderpool second place. We got the him trying to hold the break off, and then we got the him trying to chase down the break. And Caden just wasn't a part of the story at all. And then Vanderpool is out with pneumonia, and suddenly there's nothing left. And Caden's like, I'm going to create some magic here. Like, I can do this. I can get in a breakaway,
And
and he's really good in shitty weather. He sees the weather forecast and he's like, yep, I'm going to make something happen here.
well, and you look at it, and we said last week that Sudal's tour was a good one. We were considering it good. Look, man, when it comes to to these guys, they held the green jersey, they held the yellow jersey, they had multiple stage wins, despite losing their top gun, on the first day, essentially.
It's
on
crazy. Yeah.
And what could have been. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's one of the things that makes the tour so great is we go into it, we're like, oh my God, this is what we're get like this crazy lead out, and Phillips, and I had said it, I was like, Phillips, I think that, he just knows the tour and he aims for this, and, we were expecting this big showdown between Milan and Merlier and him, and, that's not what we got at all. Poor Phillipson goes out, immediately, and they then kind of, rework how they're going to, go down, and then they lose Vanderpool in, week 2, essentially. And, then with nothing left, you're right, they go out and they find a way to win. And, it was great. Okay.
You talk about the team's tour. They come away with 3 stage wins. They come away with, I believe it was 3 yellow jerseys, because I think Phillipson had it on day 1, like was wearing it on day 2.
Yes.
I think Vanderpool was wearing it on days 3 and 4. He wore it 2 days. So they got 3 yellow jerseys with 2 different riders, 3 stage wins.
And he got it back again later.
And Phillipson held the green jersey for at least
a day.
2 days, a day or two. So, I mean, and when you think about the fact that both Vanderpool and Phillipson did not finish this race, like, it's crazy. I mean, Phillipson only raced in 3.5 stages of this race.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a crazy good tour, all things considered.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think like a team like that is probably going into the tour saying, you know what, we'd love to come out of this thing with 5 stage wins in a green jersey. They didn't get that, but considering all things considered, they didn't get the 5 stage wins. They got 3. They didn't get the green jersey, but they held the yellow for three stages. You know what I mean? Like you go to the Alpecin team offices, to their service course or whatever, and you get to see 3 frames with yellow jerseys on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's huge. So, and last thing, Caden Groves coming across the finish line, man, the tears were like already starting to stream.
Oh,
like
yeah.
The look on his face, like the look of just like, I did it, man. I did it. I went out and I got this for myself, man. Like the superstars were gone and nobody had us in for anything. And I went out there and I got it because I wanted it, man. Like what a badass, man. What a total badass. And he was so choked up throughout like the whole finish of everything. Like when his teammates would come up and give him the hug, man, you could see it on his face, man. I love that about cycling. I love these guys that are not afraid to put their emotions on their sleeve when because it's almost the nature of the sport. It's so hard to get these wins. You know what I mean?
And it's the biggest stage in the world. It means everything to get a win, and so many men will never ever get the chance to experience it. And so it's very important. I think every single rider in the Pro Peloton takes a win in the Tour de France very, very seriously. I mean, it's crazy. I was looking at the stats, with somebody at work, and they were, I had made some comment about cycling, and of course they're like, oh, I'd never watch cycling, blah blah blah, and I'm like, I bet if I could get you to like understand it, that you would like it, but neither here nor there.
Oh, that's the thing. I mean, that's definitely the thing about it. Like, once people understand like everything that's happening in a bike race, it's fascinating. Like it gets its hooks into you.
Oh yeah,
with so many people.
and but it's like 50. It was over 50,000 meters of elevation. All right, that they climbed. All right, and that's however many guys finished 130 or whatever, or something like that. They rode 3,300 kilometers and went up 50,000 feet of elevation.
That's crazy.
On a friggin' bike. All right, in 3 weeks, by the way, with 2 days of rest. All right, 2 days, not in this grueling grudge match. And on the 20th stage, on the 22nd day, Caden Groves pulls something out that nobody expected. But, I think it's great that he has I think that's the thing that makes cycling so great, is they're all so humble about it, because they know how hard it is. It's not this like, hell yeah, I did it. Like, no, I'm the best. It's never that. It's always like, it's just, I can't believe this. I owe it to everybody else. My team helped me out. Like, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And that's it, man. Like, that's all you ever get. And it's so beautiful that way.
All right. Well, as great as stage 20 was, stage 21 was a whole different level. So much to talk about. First of all, the big change. We've added Montmartre to the profile of the final day of 2021. And I feel like pretty much every single person in the cycling world that I have listened to in the 48 hours since that happened has been of the same mind that like they must keep this in, because this was so much better than the status quo. I mean, as cool as, like, a lot of people talk shit about the last day of the Tour de France. I like it. I like pomp and circumstance. I like traditions and stuff like that. It has never bothered me that the final day of the Tour de France was a ceremonial day or whatever. Bob Roll made an interesting point in the broadcast. He was like, I really, really hope that they keep this, and not least of which, my reasoning is not the least of which, that I will no longer have to explain to people why the last day of the Tour de France is not actually the last day of the Tour de France, which is kind of funny because we've all been there when talking about it. But like, that never bothered me. I thought that was another thing that's interesting about the Tour de France, to be perfectly honest, that like the yellow jersey is actually done before the last day. And really? Oh yeah, let me explain it to you. Like, I didn't care about that, but what we saw this year, so much better. So much better.
It is, I mean, look, watching a bunch sprint is great. But this was way better, and all of it was so cool to see, because you knew that something was going to happen at some point. So you just kind of kept watching and kept waiting, and, there was like splits, and, they essentially, nullified there being any, crazy, GC stuff by, essentially, locking in the times way far out before the climbs. And it was awesome to see these guys, all these different riders kind of take a shot at it. Paulus took a shot at it. Simmons took a shot at it.
Philippe was the first one, man.
Took a crazy shot at it.
Wild.
Yes. And, you end up with, a group with Pog in it, and you're thinking, okay, this is Pog. This is, classic Pog. Pog's gonna, make a move, and he's gonna go and he's gonna win on the, Champs-Élysées, and this will be such a, a thing that you never get to see, and
Yeah, what a feather in the cap. I mean, it wouldn't have been bad if he had done it. Just to see that, just to see the yellow jersey winning on the last day would have been unheard of. So like that would have been the one instance of Pog winning a stage in this Tour de France that I wouldn't have been like, well, Pog won another one, whatever. Like I would have been like, wow, that was cool.
But what you get is you get to see that, 3 weeks of the hardest Tour de France that there's ever been has taken its toll on Tadej Pogačar. And Wout is I definitely think that, he did not have the stuff to hang with Wout that day.
All right, let's put a pin in that right now. I want to press pause because we're blowing off a whole bunch of stuff that I want to talk to before we get to this,
all right.
Which is like, I was glad to see that they still did the run-in. They still did the photo ops. Yeah. I don't know that I saw any champagne. Did you see any champagne being sipped? I do not recall. I do not recall.
I remember them doing the picture, but I don't remember if there was champagne or not.
Yeah. Like, and they did. I thought it was cool the way they did lots of different photo ops. Like they did not only the photo op of like the green jerseys team Lidl Trek, but like they also did like all the Italians.
Yes.
And they did all the Danes, and they did like all the. It was cool. Like a lot. It's still getting that pomp and circumstance. That pageantry was good. I like that has been kept in the race, because that to me is one of the like most unique parts of pro cycling, is that there is a thing. I mean, that would be as if at the Super Bowl, the first quarter is just the players running around and like tossing the football back to each other and doesn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that would be the equivalent.
Just bullshitting and catching
like having
up,
a game of catch and doing photos.
Yeah, they haven't talked, for 3 weeks.
In the game.
Yeah.
Right. In the game. like that's what it would be like. So I love that is not gone. And you get a chance to, look at the kits. UAE's got got its like final day kit. And I'll say this, like Tim Wellens jersey, that weird, like the way that Belgian jersey, I'm on record as not being a huge fan of the Belgian national champ jersey, but with the UAE Tour de France winning kit with like the splash of yellow in the middle and his jersey, it looked pretty damn good. I gotta admit, like Wellens' jersey.
I will say that their kit game is not nearly as good as Jumbo's or Visma.
Not at all. Some other stuff from the lead in. It was cool the way that UAE was just like at kilometer 0, they were just like way out in front. It was just like their team by themselves, just like off on like a team training ride all by themselves. And everybody gave them like that amount of respect. There was a great moment where Luke Durbo from Australia sees Caden Groves as they were kind of getting ready to fall in for the Australian contingent like photo op. They were sort of queuing up to get into that, but there was just a moment where Durbridge like noticed Caden Groves, who had just won the day before, as we just talked about, and just like rolls up on him and gives him like the biggest high five, like hell yeah mate, way to get it done for Australia. Like I love that so much. Then you had the Italian contingent.
I loved this photo. This was my favorite of all of the ones that they put together. This was my favorite.
Which one, the Italians. Or the Lidl Trek?
No, the Italians.
Apparently, Milan is only the third Italian to ever win the green jersey in the Tour de France, which I find very surprising.
That is surprising.
So it was like Francesco Moser, like back in the 60s, and then Mario Cipollini in the late 80s, early 90s, and then Milan. It's insane. The one that I liked actually was the Lidl Trek one, because
you get all
the
those.
Symmetry.
Yeah, you get all
the symmetry. So going from outside in, you had like Lidl Trek kit, Lidl Trek kit. Then you had the two national championships, Tom Scoins and Quinn Simmons, and
And
then
then the
right in the
green.
middle, Milan. Like that was the symmetry of that was really, really nice. Now, uh, wait, what else did I have on here? I got to give you your props on Florian Leipowitz. Now, I will. You've been on the Florian Leipowitz train since like late week one, and
Well, dude, I've been on the Florian Leipowitz train since the Dauphiné. Because I had said then, you were like, whoa, you know, he hasn't, you know, never raced a 3-week race, blah 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 blah. So look, the kid's got so much upside, man. I can't wait. You know, and of everybody in this tour that you could have said like who's going to be on the podium, like you would have never thought that Florian Lipowitz was
no,
going to do it.
no, and I like him. I like his look. He first of all, I'll tell you what. One thing I noticed, that guy has got a very similar build to Tadej Pogacar. He's like not tiny, skinny. He's got a little bit of some. He's got some robustness to him. He's tall, and he's got a sadness in his eyes, which I just love. He really does. Like he's got that kind of little lost child look in his eyes, and I love it. So really gonna enjoy watching what he does. Now, as we as we as we get closer to like the circuit, so in the race they did a couple of laps of the original circuit. You know, the Champs,
Yep.
gone through the Place de la Concorde. And what I really
Through the
love, this
through
is
the Louvre.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that moment. There's something about that shot in particular that just takes my breath away. I think they do it the same way every year too, where they give you a helicopter shot as they're approaching the building, and right as they come through that gate, they switch to that panning shot from inside the courtyard, and you just see all those bike riders riding through that courtyard. And I mean, it takes my breath away every year when I see that. They pop out through the next gate, and then they're onto the section where the pyramid, the
Yes.
IMK pyramid is, and they ride right around that pyramid. And it's just like, once again, how cool is this sport? Once, imagine if they played a football game inside of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I mean, that's what this is. You know what I'm saying? They ride their bikes through the Louvre. That's crazy. It's so cool. It's beyond cool. I love that so much. And they come out, and then it's like Place de la Concorde, and they make the right hand turn. They're on the Champs Elysees. They go past the obelisk. I was down the rabbit hole on the obelisk. I was like, what's up with this, man? They need to give it back. Like, this is bullshit. And then I come to find out, no, it was actually a gift of the Egyptian government to France. And there was a second obelisk that the Egyptian government tried to give to France. And it was like just too big. And it was like, we had a hard enough time getting the first obelisk over here and like installed in France. You guys keep it. We're gonna sign the paperwork, and now it's back to you, and you own it, Egypt. Thank you very much, but we have one. We're good. You take the other one back. So there's no bad mojo with the obelisk. You get that killer shot, and like so
with
they
that
so they
with that pure gold top.
yeah, it's
That
so cool.
you know that they shine that thing right
Oh
before
yeah.
the tour.
Oh, and that's aftermarket for sure. There's no way that came from Egypt, that gold top. but
That's
um,
aftermarket.
That's definitely an aftermarket gold top. So yeah, boom, you get them coming down the Champs Elysees. They give you the classic shot of the French Air Force with the three colored smoke,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the shot. This is the best shot of the whole thing, of that part of it. You get it every year. The helicopter is like up above where the planes come through. They come through the shot,
And
and
then
once they
they
get
they peel
they
up.
disappear. They disappear, but the smoke is still there, and then the wind blows the smoke away. The camera holds, and as the smoke gets blown away, what can you see down below? Zoom time. There's the Peloton on the Champs Elysees. It's so perfect every time. I don't care if it's no surprise whatsoever. It's great. I love it every year. I love the way they do that. The dust, the smoke clears, and they zoom in, and you see the peloton on the Champs-Élysées down below. So good. How can you not love this? You know what I mean?
No, it really is one of the best parts of the whole thing.
It's so good. So things get rolling. They're on the Champs Elysees. They're on the original circuit. You're starting to see attacks. First, very first attack, Nielsen Palace with Betrago, Court Nelson. Didn't last very long. There was an intermediate sprint in there. Milan came up. He kind of contested it with Abrahamson, but Milan got it, which completed his perfect set of intermediate sprints. You know about this?
No.
Jonathan Milan won every single intermediate sprint for the entire Tour de France. Every single one. He was in first place. Every single intermediate.
Has that
sprint.
ever been done before?
That I don't know, but to me that says there's no disputing that he was a deserving green jersey winner. He went out there and won every single intermediate sprint. That's pretty sick. So then you see Leipowitz and Quinn on the attack. The two of them were out in front, and there was a slow-mo of them by the Arc de Triomphe. So there's multiple cameras by the Arc de Triomphe, I've noticed. So there's one that's at like 12 o'clock on the backside. Maybe you call it 6 o'clock, but it's like once they get like halfway around, there's one directly at the Arc. So you see them all kind of going by like in a flat line below. But then you get that one that's like cocked off at an angle right as they're coming out of the circle. It's cocked up looking back at the Arc, and they're coming through like this, and they hit that camera angle, but on a slow-mo, and it was just like Quinn and Florian Leipowitz rolling past there. I was just like, oh, that's smooth. That looks so smooth going by there. It was so nice. And then basically once they finished their circuits of the classic circuit, you got that shot where they're coming down the side of the river and they're coming up to the obelisk, and you get you know how they'll like throw the obelisk like up in the corner of the shot. You'll like see it hanging out there. They must have like a serious like boom camera that's like mounted right by that obelisk where they can get lots of different angles. But you see them coming up, and every single time you've ever seen that shot, they came through there and they make that left and then the right on the Champs-Élysées, but not this time, baby. Boom, they hook a right turn right there, and it's like we're heading off to Montmartre. Oh my God, the goosebumps were up. Oh my God, this was so great.
So the thing that struck me first as they start to go, in this different direction was the crowd.
Yes.
There was so many people. And it seemed like the further you got up the hill, the deeper the crowd got. And
insane.
One of the things that, I heard and I assumed when I was watching it was that this is one of the biggest crowds that they've ever had.
It was 500,000 plus, 500,000 people.
That's crazy.
Watching guys zoom by on bikes, man, it's amazing.
Yeah, they got three runs though.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into a little bit more about like what was happening with the crowds when we get to the team bus later this week. But yeah, absolutely incredible. And I have to say that shot that I was just talking about, where you see him make that right turn and head out to Montmartre, the camera pulled back, and you could see the riders going off in that direction. In the very upper right-hand corner, if you look carefully, you could see Sacré-Cœur up there. You could see like where they were headed to, like just chef's kiss. Absolutely incredible. They head up, and who is the first guy to open it up on the first pass of the Montmartre climb? Lulu, putting on the show for the hometown crowd. You knew he wasn't going to win this thing.
I don't know. There was 2 seconds where I was like,
yeah, there was 2 seconds, and then you really knew he wasn't going to win it when who was immediately on his wheel? Tadej Pogačar.
Yes.
Tadej Pogačar from climb 1 was right there, and you're just like, oh man, this dude is in it to win it right here.
100%.
Like, it was like, holy cow. So you get a little break after that first climb. Pog, Wout van Aert, Lulu, Arnaud Delis, Vandenbroek, and Ballerini, which was kind of an interesting group. so they're rolling along. They roll through the thing, and that group kind of stays together through basically the whole lap. And during that lap, we get a very interesting anecdote that Bob Roll shared with us about Tadej Pogacar, because they keep referencing the Olympics in this thing because we're on the Olympics course now.
Mhm.
So like this is, it's top of mind for everybody because it just happened last summer. And Bob Roll shares an anecdote. Do you know why? Do you know why Tadej Pogacar did not participate in the Olympics for Slovenia last year?
Yeah, because they left Urska Zegert off the team, and she was the Slovenian champion.
Yes, I love it. He's like, I'm ride or die, baby. This is
Yeah,
my
100%.
gal. You're gonna
That
diss my
was
gal? No, I'm not
absolute.
going
It
to
was
the Olympics.
absolutely why he was like totally set to ride in the Olympics, and then they didn't put her on the team, and he was like, no. He's like, if the Slovenian champion can't ride, then I guess you don't need Tadej Pogacar.
What a baller!
Yep.
What a baller! I absolutely like that. So, 33 Ks to go. Rain starts, and it gets hard. So we have now got some serious rain that we're contending with here. Second time up the climb, Visma bossing it on the front.
Mateo.
And this is where we see Mateo, baby. Oh man, Mateo has like cemented his place in my heart. Why am I wearing this jersey right now? Why am I wearing this hat? Come on. It's for Mateo and Wow. We'll get to Wow. But yeah, Mateo up there, Mateo and Victor Campenarts up there just like taking care of business. And you got Pog attacking, but it's not steep enough. And the whole thing that I'm thinking on that second climb up Mont Martre, as I'm watching Tadej Pogacar trying to attack, and Wout and Mateo are just like hanging with them. Plus, you got Matteo Trentin and Ballerini. I'm like, this is MSR all over again.
You're going to say this.
This is the toughest puzzle. This is Tadej Pogacar's like this is his Rubicon, man. This is like the thing that he has to unlock to truly like take his career and his Palmares to like the Merckx level. He has got to figure out how to win races like this.
Hold on. Speculation. Could he have beat Remco?
I don't know. That's a good question. I really don't know.
Damn.
I mean, Remco in form.
We'll never know.
No. Well, we might know next year if they keep this in there. And everybody wants
true.
him. Everybody wants him to keep this. But yeah. So you come around and we get to the third climb, and it is the attack of Wout van Aert. It's awesome. Like there's just a couple of guys left up in the front. It's like Wout, it's Ballerini, it's Pogacar, and Mateo is up there. And Mateo did a whole bunch of work to keep hitting Tadej Pogacar with those attacks, and that's what it is. It's back to
What they
2021.
did. Yeah, stage 10.
That's how you get them, man. And that's how they do it. And Mateo took up that mantle. He wasn't a part of it back then. Back then, it was Primoz
And Jonas.
it was Wout.
No, it was Primoz and Jonas that made those attacks on stage 10. They were tag teaming him left and right, and then Jonas took off and dropped them.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So, but just so cool to see Mateo like kind of taking up that mantle. And then by the time Wout attacks, I don't know if you're paying attention, like the speed that Wout put out. I would love to see the numbers from Wout's initial attack for like the next 2 minutes, because dude, that man, that was what do they call it? The thermonuclear attack. That was like a Vanderpool. Although I think he was seated. I'm pretty sure he was seated, but he was destroying it. Like he roared past Pogacar, and like Pog never really got on his wheel.
No, I don't think I don't think Pog had it in him to follow. I mean, I think that the move was timed in just a way that they knew that, Pog wasn't going to, or they hoped that Pog wasn't going to follow, and just Pog couldn't.
He got, well, I don't see, and here's where I said I was going to take it up. Might take issue with you. Okay, so I think Pog's plan going into this stage was, I'm gonna try to attack. I'm gonna try to do my Pog thing. I'm gonna do my seated attacks. I'm gonna do my ride away from the group and everything, and I'm gonna see if it works. like it usually does. But if it doesn't, I'm not going to take any risks. I'm not going to crash out and not win the Tour de France on stage 21 because I'm going for a stage win. That's what I think. Because and like it could have been a whole different story if there was no rain. If it was bone dry and there was a lot more safety in there, you could have seen Pog going a lot harder. But think about it. He puts out that kind of power and his wheel slips out and suddenly he's on the deck. And then who knows what happens. And I think once he saw, I think once Wout put on that thermonuclear attack, and not only Wout communicated two things to Pog when he made that attack. Thing one was, I got some serious legs right here. I'm about to put down some heavy numbers. But thing two, which might have been more important, is it's like, I'm willing to risk it all right here, buddy. It's do or die for me right here. You got something to stay upright for. I don't give a hoot. I'm going for it. I think
you're right.
Stay with me at your peril. And I think Pog made a calculation. He was like, nah, not worth it. If it was dry, if the situation was different, if I had made an attack and dropped everybody, yeah, I might go for it. But this guy is clearly like, this guy's going to fight me all the way to the end. I don't want this. I want to win my yellow jersey and be done with it.
Well, and the other thing that plays into this is that this isn't a hard stage until the 3 climbs. So they don't have a lot of,
exactly.
Wout does not
There's
have
not a lot of fatigue.
Right. Exactly. And I think this goes, I feel like we've talked about it before that we feel, I mean, we talked about it, during it when we did MSR, but I feel like the only way that Pogacar is going to be able to win a race like this or like MSR is he has to have a team that takes him out like extremely early, and they try to just like team time trial so far ahead of the pack right off the bat that there's no way that they can win. Yeah.
This is my idea. We were talking about this earlier.
I said, I think we talked about it before.
Let's put a pin in that. I don't want to waste time talking about it because we're already like way past time, but there's so much more to talk about with this stage. Mateo gets like the award for like domestique duty, the picture perfect domestique work from Mateo.
I would say better than Sepp Kuss.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Wout got huge separation. He was never in danger again. It was 19 seconds at the finish, and he slowed down to do like a major salute. So like it could have been 25 seconds or more at the finish.
Oh, he more or less stopped at the line.
Huge margin of victory. But I got to give a tip of the hat to Tadej Pogacar. Like, really, like, dude, you lit it up, man. You Wout is the reason for my joy, but Pogacar is the reason for why that stage was so freaking good. You know what I'm saying? That dude was up there animating that race. He didn't have to do that, but that's the guy that he is, and that's why like you can't hate on Tadej Pogacar. You really can't, because like that guy's a bike racer. You just want to race the bike, and he gives us some incredible stuff.
Well, and I think too with Tadej Pogacar, this year versus any other year is, I feel like this was his most mature Tour de France yet. He never put himself in peril. He never, pushed the envelope to a point that was risky. Even when he had a wreck, it was classic Pogacar overcooking a corner. I feel like he made a statement with his racing this time that was a little different. It didn't have to be dominant to be perfect. And I feel like he really played it perfect, and he capitalized on moments where, he needed to, because really, I mean, you can really boil it down to like 2 or 3 spots in the whole race where he capitalized. That launch that Narvaez gave him, okay, that was crazy and he wasn't expecting, but he got such a launch off of that he ended up getting, I think, 2 minutes that day or something like that. He had a great time.
The TTs.
Yeah, he had a great, 2 great time trials, but I mean, outside of that, it was more or less, I'm going to stick with Jonas. I'm not going to overdo it. I'm not going to work harder than I need to. And, I'm going to roll in there safely with, by the way, almost 5 minutes. So,
yeah, I mean, I think it does. It does sort of like nod to a possible change in like a progression in his approaches to these races. Because you are right, he definitely let off the throttle a little bit in the third week for sure.
now,
But
there
still
also
won by a mile.
there could also be that this was an extremely hard climby tour with a lot of stuff, and he may have just realized like, hey, I'm not going to be able to just run away with this thing like I did the Giro 2 years ago and the tour last year. Like this is a different animal, and he played it right. And again, I give him all the credit in the world. I think he had a great tour. I think he did exactly what he needed to in all the right places, and he's gracious, and it's just he's a class act, man, and he's a great bike rider.
Well, this is for sure going to be the longest episode of this podcast ever because we're still not done with this segment. And I have some more. I'm going to go down. I want to hit every single bullet point on my list here, and then we're going to be out. All right. So, first of all, the symmetry between Wout's two big wins this year. He wins the Strade Bianche stage of the Giro, which was the site of one of the biggest wins of his career, right? Then in the Tour, he wins the final stage of the Tour de France for the second time in his career on the Champs-Élysées. I love that symmetry.
Well, and it's a bit of he took the win, the would-be Cav win. Okay.
Right.
Then Philipsen took the would-be win from him like a year later, or maybe it was 2 years later. And then now he gets this amazing solo victory in like the coolest final stage that we've ever seen, the first time. So like,
yes.
And when if this continues on, they will always look back and be like, remember that time when Wout van Aert won that remember when they first started doing the Montmartre and Wout van Aert beat Pogacar again, because that's going to be what people remember. All right, when Wout beat Pog again.
And let's not forget too, like when he won that Strade Bianche stage of the Giro, like that was on a Sunday. Like it was like, and it's like Wout has not delivered us a whole bunch of wins this year, but he's delivered us 2 wins that are just so sublime, like so cathartic. Like, I mean, talk about the redemption tour of Wout van Aert. Even though he hasn't rattled off 7 wins this season or whatever, and like Wout's back or whatever, it's like he has come up big on some of the biggest possible days of the year. Incredible.
Well, I mean,
incredible.
Look, they came away with multiple stage wins. They came away with another second in the Tour de France. Again, I'm sure they, of course they want the win, but
the team prize.
They got their whole team. They definitely got the team prize.
They got their whole team on the podium at the Tour de France.
That's true. Big. I totally forgot about that.
That's big for an organization.
And again, I mean, I think we keep, I keep going back to it. In the Pogacar age, you can't say that it's not a success.
Yeah, I wish Jonas would have gotten a win like he did last year. He got that 1 win last year. I wish he would have gotten 1 win that year. That to me would have tightened everything up. But still, definitely a success. Just winning the Montmartre stage on the last day would have been a success no matter what. So they got more out of it than that. All right, let's move through some of these last things here real quick.
Sure.
I liked how Christian got to jump into the booth with Phil and Bob at the end for the final stage. Totally. It was kind of cool. Good for him. All right, how about Quinn Simmons proposing to his girlfriend in the middle of the Champs-Élysées, like where the cars drive? Like the one day a year when it's closed, and Quinn's right there. You got the Arc de Triomphe in the background. Like, you go, dude. Like, Quinn Simmons, man, consider him resurrected. I don't want to go back and look up whatever the social media posts were that got him canceled, but I want to write that off to Quinn being a young and dumb, and we're moving on to Quinn Simmons 2.0 because like he animated this race. He's got 2 big wins this year already, in addition to his United States national champions win. He's kind of the best thing we got going for American cycling right now. And more power to him, right?
Well, him and Mateo, man, the great American hopes.
Yep, yep. So, did you catch the produced piece that they did at the end for the 50th anniversary of the Champs Elysees?
Yes.
Like the piece that the organizers did. It
Right.
was you could tell that wasn't an NBC piece because it had like a bunch of French in it and stuff, but it was cool. Um, do you know that Mark Cavendish won on the Champs Elysees 4 times? The first 2 times he won, he was wearing his HTC, his old team jersey, the black, yellow, and white
Right.
HTC. But the third and fourth times, it was green jersey followed by world
Yeah, I was
champions
going to say
jersey.
world champions jersey.
Baller, so baller, so baller.
And then
Um,
he was in green when he lost to Wow, right?
could have been twice if it
Yeah.
weren't for Wild Van Aert. Um, on the beginning of the podium ceremony, they brought up Bernard Thévenet, who was like the very first Frenchman to win on the Champs Elysees, and you gotta love the French because Christian Prudhomme, the director of the Tour de France, he rolls up there. He's got his suit on, his skinny jeans, and he's got sneakers on. He's like on the he's like on the podium of the Tour de France, like talking to a legend. He's like wearing his suit, but he's got like tennis shoes on. Um, Ben Healy, most aggressive rider of the Tour de
Yes.
France. Ben Healy on the podium of the Tour de France. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love
I
that.
was all for that.
Also, when we were talking about Visma Lisa Bike getting the 2-stage win, second overall, and the best team, they also did not lose a single rider.
They
All
did.
8 of their guys,
All
all
eight
8 of their
come
guys
back,
were there.
come to the podium. Yes.
And I'll say this right now: Mateo will get his stage win next year. Mateo gets his Tour de France stage win next year. That's gonna happen. I'm making that prediction right now. I love that there's 2 Americans on that team too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This really like dyed in the wool, like hardcore, you know, Tour de France pro cycling team. It's 2 Americans, like 2 crucial Americans, like animating races
Well, and
for
I'm
that
telling
team.
you, dude, I think Mateo had a better race than Sepp.
Oh, for sure.
Sepp's job is to literally sit with Jonas and stay with him as long as he possibly can. That is his only role. Mateo,
Like Sepp, they need Sepp for like 5 minutes every Tour de France. They need him for like 90 seconds on 3 stages.
yeah, but other than that, he is
It's crazy.
literally Jonas's shadow. He just
Right.
sits with him. He's just his front guy. And Mateo brings so much to the table. He's so versatile. He's doing multiple things in multiple stages, playing different roles, playing the protector, going out in the breakaway, coming back to lead him up on the climbs. Like, dude, he's all over the race.
Yeah, satellite rider.
Yeah.
And I think next year they're gonna find a way to give him an opportunity to get something himself.
Well,
They're gonna
I
find
see.
something for him.
You could just see him winning a Yatesy type stage like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. A puncher stage.
Yeah.
He's got it.
And
So
with it's so crazy to me to think that the guy that won the Giro is like the domestique on that team.
crazy. Hey, he got his stage win too. So well, we've spent more than enough time on this. The 2025 Tour de France. It was our first Tour de France that we covered on Beyond the Slipstream. It was a hell of a lot of fun. I wish the GC battle would have been a little bit more exciting, but hey, it gave us plenty of joy nonetheless. I mean, just the Ben Healy story was amazing, and then Wout Van Aert finishing it off in the end
It's crazy to me
couldn't have been better.
how 3 weeks of racing, how you go in with like all these like, okay, this is what we're looking for and this is what we're going to watch. And, no matter how many times now that I've done this, like no matter what I go in expecting, I always come out, pleasantly surprised with the things that did unfold and the way, the different things that you weren't expecting, the things that you were expecting, and, the things that could have been had, certain things been, slightly different. And it's such a amazing way to watch the biggest event of your sport, and watch it unfold over in almost an entire month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
now we get the Tour de France Femmes, which we're going to be talking about momentarily in our third segment. And it's just like, you don't have the come down anymore. It's like, we got our methadone now. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like we get our week's worth of methadone after the Tour de France. It's just like, boom,
Well,
right back in it.
and in, a couple weeks time, we're going to be, into the Vuelta.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. All right, we're going to leave it there. Stick with us. We're going to be right back talking Tour de France, Femmes Avec Zwift, stages 1 and 2. Stay with us.
Don't miss the Team Bus, our weekly companion podcast to the main Beyond the Slipstream show. Our domestique, if you will, dropping every Wednesday in your usual podcast feed.
Please note this segment will contain spoilers. If you have not watched the first 2 stages of the race and wish to remain unspoiled, please wait to listen until you've had a chance to catch up. The opening weekend of the 2025 Tour de France Femmes Avec Zwift gave us 2 great finishes, the first of which was a likely winner in an unlikely way, and the second of which was a very unlikely winner in the most likely way possible for a woman of her talents. I will be eating crow in due time for previous comments on this podcast about Stage 2's winner, Mavi Garcia. So let's forestall that uncomfortable moment in my very near future with a lively discussion of the set piece of a finish to Stage 1, which saw Visma Lease Bike's Pauline Ferrand-Prévot fool us into thinking she was going to start this Tour de France, a tour for which she has been very vocal about her intentions to go for an overall GC win with a huge Stage 1 win on a punchy uphill finish. As it turned out, she was merely setting the table for her GOAT of a teammate, Marianne Vos, who could not have played this finish more perfectly, sitting on the wheel of rival Kim LaCour as she chased PFP up the climb towards the finish line, and only coming around her after LaCour had overtaken her teammate. It was a masterclass in timing delivered by the greatest of all time. Justin, how exciting was this finish?
It had me completely fooled as well.
I mean, man.
And the big thing is that I was like, oh, she's going to run out of gas. Like, she's going to get caught. Like,
I thought she was going to nail it. Like, I thought she had it. Like, when she started opening up that gap after, like, when she initially attacked, I was like, oh my God, she's crushing these women. Like, she's heads and shoulders above them. But I wasn't accounting for, like, she must have taken off with 500 meters go or something, or more, 600, because, like, it was going on and on and on. And finally, I was like, oh, okay, maybe not. Like,
yeah.
Holy crap, they're coming back. Like, how early did she start?
We started talking about it before the podcast. Marianne Vos is unbelievable. You know what I mean? I really truly believe that, especially on a flat sprint stage, there's only one person in the pro peloton that can consistently beat her, that you can say is always going to win, because she just wins everything, and that's Lorena Wiebes.
Right.
But when you put her in a position like this, she's just too smart, dude. She just outsmarts everybody that she races against. And
yeah, if you think about it, you think about a woman with that kind of experience, like how many hundreds and hundreds of races has she been in? It's like as these things add up, the pitch of the road and the people that are out there, it's like it must just come as second nature to her. You know what I mean? Just having this knowledge that, like, I know exactly what to do here. It's my teammate who's charging up this hill, who I know is like our GC person. So, like, it doesn't matter if I win this stage or not. It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't really matter. I've had a yellow jersey. I'm the GOAT. I'll probably win something else in this Tour de France. Like, I'm more than happy to be dedicated to the team goal in this moment right here, right now. So what that says to me is I just need to sit on Kim LaCourt's wheel, because my teammate's out in front. She's going to win. I don't come around LaCourt right now and challenge my teammate. That's not what you do. You sit on the challenger's wheel because your teammate is going to win. That's what you do, and that's what I'm going to do. And she does that, and she just waits for it to play out. And finally, within like eyesight of the finish line, Lacour manages to get past Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. And at that moment, Marianne Vos, who's sitting on the wheel, just watching the situation play out, making her calculations, she's like, okay, the jig is up for PFP, and now it's my turn. Good night. Lights out. It's like incredible.
And Kim LaCour just dragged her up the hill.
Right, exactly. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, it was a master class in how to win a bike race, and she's gifted with the stage win. She's gifted with the yellow jersey, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, just incredible, and I like seeing PFP out there and like making moves on stage one. I mean, I feel like she's been kind of an X factor all this year. It's like she comes back to she comes onto the road squad at Visma Lisa bike at the beginning of the year, and it's like Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. We've heard this name, but who is she? Like, oh, she's this like woman from mountain biking. No, wait. She was road biking way back when, and she was the road world champion way back when.
Yeah, she definitely has the bands.
But then she just walked away. She was like, nah, I'm going to mountain bike for like 8 years. I'm just going to walk away from all that. I'm going to walk away from the biggest stage in the world. I'm going to do this other thing that I really love. And she goes out there and she like conquers that entire world. And she's like, okay, now I'm ready to come back to the road, the women's road pro peloton. And I'm not messing around, folks. I'm back, and I'm here because I want to win the Tour de fucking France. You know what I mean? That's why I'm here. And I'm gonna and she states that from the beginning of the season. She states that. And what does she do? She goes out and she wins Paris-Roubaix, for God's sake. Like, but that's just her saying, "See, I'm serious. I really want to win that Tour de France thing." And then here she comes on the first stage, and like that close.
Well, and Marianne Vos has come out and said that like, it's her. Like they're riding for her.
Absolutely.
So, that team is committed right now to winning the Tour de France. And I'm going to tell you, with, we lose Marlon Royce day one. All right, she doesn't start day two, and
don't spoil. We're only talking about stages 1 and 2 right now.
But look, you're good. That's fine. Either way, that takes out, in my opinion, one of your top contenders to Demi Vollering. All right, and Demi Vollering. I'm trying.
Put it this way. Start of the race. This is what we were looking at. Vollering. We weren't even really thinking about Ferrand-Prévot, but let's put her in there. It was Vollering, Ferrand-Prévot,
AVB,
Neo Adoma, Van der Breggen, Eliza Longo Borghini, Marlon Royce. It was those guys. By the end of stage 1, Marlon Royce is not in there. We're down to 5. You know what I'm saying? We're down to 5 by the end of stage 1. And at the end of stage 2, Eliza Longo Borghini has shipped almost a minute. She's almost out of the thing. That's the thing. That's another thing I was thinking about, like with the women's Tour de France. I do hope that it somehow becomes, if not a 3-week race, like maybe a 2-week race, because I feel like in a men's Tour de France, you get 21 stages. If you lose 45 seconds on the opening stage, 50 seconds on the opening stage, and you're a GC contender, there is a path back to even, to a win, to doing something. Whereas I feel like in the women's tour, like you lose 45 seconds a minute on the first stage, like God help you getting that back. Like, it's going to be tough. There's just not enough time. You either, your only choice is to do it in like a big giant, like breakaway giant win, because there's not enough days for you to chip off 5 seconds
Right.
here and 10 seconds
And
there to
and
get it
most
back.
likely that's a big breakaway win on a mountain stage.
Right.
Because that's
So
the only place where you're going to be able to make up time like that, you know, and which, no offense, it's exactly what ELB did in the Giro.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So really by the end of stage two, and we haven't even really started talking about stage two yet, but by the end of the stage two, I mean, Eliza Longa Borghini is still like way, way down. Marlon Ruiz is gone. So we're down to now four. It's now Ferran Prevot, Van der Breggen, Vollering, and ELB. No.
No,
And
Neodoma.
and Neodoma. Um Interesting how this is playing out. With just 2 days gone, and like big names are starting to fall away. So,
Look, I personally, I think it's PFP's, race to win right now. Like, I think if she's gonna win one, this is the one she is gonna, that she has the best shot at.
yeah, I would say she has as good a chance as anyone.
I also think Neodoma has a good shot at defending.
Yeah, she's, if you notice in both of these stages, she's been very close to
Yes.
the front. She's been in top 10 both these stages, making moves and keeping herself close to the front. I love how attentive she's being, and I feel like I will be equally happy to see PFP or Newadoma win this tour. Those would be my top two that I want to win,
Well, now
that
that
I would like to
for
win.
me, now that Royce is going, she was definitely my you know my dark horse in this race.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't begrudge the win to Demi Vollering. I mean, I think she's totally deserving, and
Yeah, yeah,
she
yeah.
that woman just goes on a roller coaster ride of a career. So, especially after last year and how dirty her team did her last year, and how cool this year's team seems to be. The FDJ just seems like a really cool team that is very dialed in and and you know team oriented. Um,
Well,
I
there's been some stuff said between the way that Pogacar's team handles him going down versus how her team handled her going down. So it's
going down when
like hitting the pavement.
when like the SD Works last year thing,
Yes,
or are you talking about?
the way that Pogacar's team treats, how how they protect him versus how they protected her, which they didn't.
Oh yeah, that's already been tried and settled. All right, let's quickly talk about stage two. I'm going to eat my crow right here. Uh, I have said that like I've compared Mavi Garcia to like Enric Mas, like just never can get it done, never can close the deal for the win. You know, it's not a name that's unknown to us. Like we've done a lot of talking about Mavi Garcia. Mavi Garcia has been there with like 7Ks to go, and Garcia makes the move, and it's like, and it just always comes to nothing. And somehow, some way, this woman casually rides off the front with like what was like 9Ks to go, and
Looking
just
strong as death.
yeah, and just maintains, and they never catch her. I was flabbergasted. I was like, oh, well, it's just Mavi Garcia riding off the front. I was barely paying attention. I was dusting the shelves in my office as I was glancing over my shoulder to see Mavi Garcia putting in a move. And strangely, each time I glanced back, there was that purple and gray jersey still out there. So, Mavi Garcia, I apologize. You got it done on the world's biggest stage. My hat's off to you. Uh, a wonderful win. I was so glad to see her get that win.
All right, so can we talk about the literal opposite end of the spectrum and what's going on with Kristen Faulkner? Dead last on stage two.
Was she last? Yeah, she's having a nightmare of a tour.
Yeah, like I'm honestly surprised that she hasn't abandoned. Like, American champion Kristen Faulkner. Like, hate to see it.
Is her champion's jersey different from Cole's?
Absolutely.
Hers doesn't have the stars. She's got stripes. She's got the stars. She's got the stripes, right?
Mm-hmm. Hers is, I think, both. I think it has stars and stripes.
Oh, okay.
But
I did not realize that she was dead last. I knew she was struggling, but I did not realize she came in last.
Yeah,
interesting.
So,
Also thought it was somewhat interesting to see Weebus denied in both of the first two stages. I mean, stage one, it was a stretch to think that she was going to win stage one, but
I just don't think that that's her style of sprint.
it's not. But she has proven herself to be able to get over climbs and stuff like that. She could have. I mean, I look at her kind of like Voss. Like if Voss was able to be there in the finish, like she probably could have been there in the finish as well.
Well, if they're all together, but I mean, she's not going to like. They're not going to catch. She's not catching those guys in that type of move. Like,
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, like, if the race situation was different, she was physically capable.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Of being in the mix for the win on that stage. So she comes out of stage one, she doesn't get a win. She's not like thinking to herself, "Oh, disaster" or whatever. Like, it didn't happen, no big deal. Stage two, however, definitely could have been a sprint finish, and the Chase got it wrong. And I just think it's interesting that just like last year, I mean, not just like last year, she just got beat 2 days in a row, which was crazy. If you recall, Charlotta Cool just straight up beat her 2 days in a row. Did she finish the tour last year? Did she abandon? Was she sick? Like it seems.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. It seems crazy even to think about, like Lorena Vivas losing two like flat sprint stages in a row. Did that really happen?
Well, I mean, after what she's done this year, it's really hard to imagine it. But yes,
it really is. It really is. So yeah.
But this is look. This is the only way you're going to beat Lorena Wiebes right now. If you put yourself into a head-to-head, in both cases, if you put yourself into a head-to-head sprint with her, you're probably going to lose. Even on the uphill, you're probably right. If she is with that group, she could probably beat them. And she's smart enough to know to not do the work going up that hill. She would be smart enough to be doing the same thing that Voss was doing. As far as the second stage, again, if you want to beat her, you're not beating her on the line. So if you're not making a move, how else are you going to beat her? So,
well, and also what's happened is like her team basically like going into any finish, like the whole rest of the peloton is just like, nope, you guys have to do the work. You have Vivas, you have to do the work. You have to get the break back if you yes. fucking want to win. Like every single race now, like nobody will work with that team on any kind of a sprint finish thing. Like they 100% have to pull the brake back on their own every time, which is crazy. Well,
you know what? Tough problem to have.
Exactly. We've got great racing ahead in stages 3 through 9, which we'll be covering on next week's episode. So we're going to leave it there. My hat's off to you, Mavi Garcia. You are truly a great Tour de France champion and deserving of all of your kudos. Stick around with us, folks. We will be back for another ride in the Broom Wagon. All right, we are back, and it is time for a ride up the Champs-Élysées, right behind Wout van Aert, in the Broom Wagon. Justin, what do you got for
us? Little show recommendation. Always on the lookout for something for the wife and I to digest with each other.
Y'all are TV people. You're TV people to the bone.
Yes.
And I love it.
And here's my thing. I love low commitment stuff where like you only got to crank out, 8 episodes of something. I
Right.
love
Right.
that.
A limited series.
Yeah,
It's like
I'm
one of the glories of
yeah.
the streaming era.
Well, hold on. The glory of the streaming era is that we've gone away from 22 episode seasons down to like typically like 7 to 12 at the most.
Right.
Which is absolutely perfect because it gives a story enough air and room to breathe. Okay. So you get like, to me, you get
It's
more.
like a 9-hour movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's the book instead of the movie.
It's the book. Exactly.
okay.
It's the book.
So, I had just, I don't know, I can't remember what I saw. I think it was just an ad, and it was for this show called The Better Sister. It's on Amazon Prime, and it had Elizabeth Banks and Jessica Biel, and I was like, huh. It's like Jessica Biel, man. I feel like I haven't seen her in anything in forever. And it just looked like really, really good. There was like some, it's like a murder mystery type of thing. And I was like, you know what? My wife loves, true crime stuff. Like she loves all that kind of, mystery, murder stuff. So I was like, bam, perfect thing to try out. Let me tell you, I was completely blown away by this show.
Set it up. What's the plot?
The plot, so it unfolds very like in pieces, but Jessica Biel is married to Corey Stoll, which I don't know if you know who he is, but he's
just set it up. Give me the plot. Where
that's her husband.
What's the setting? What's the plot?
She comes home, finds him dead, and it unfolds from there. And essentially, Elizabeth Banks plays her sister, and I don't want to give too much away because there's like this dynamic with Jessica Biel's son.
So it's like murder mystery?
Yes, very murder mystery. Okay. But you're really kept guessing the whole way through. It's done just really, really well. And it's like kind of set in New York among like, powerful people, but it doesn't really have, it's not like that, but it's like media and how like, notoriety affects things. And it was just so damn good. Elizabeth Banks honestly deserves to be considered for an Emmy. She did an awesome job in this.
She's great. She's fantastic.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, she's next level, man. Like she's really, really like coming into her own. Like this is a good dramatic role, and it's just, man, she gives me shades of Edie Falco, like that type. Like, man, she's like just nice. Really, really coming into it. Matthew Modine's in it.
Matty Modine. Love that guy.
He's very, very good. Yeah, I said to my wife,
Private Joker.
Like very early on, I was like, oh man, Matt Modine's in this.
Private freaking Joker.
Another actress that I really, really like, Kim Dickens. And did you ever watch Treme on HBO?
Treme, yeah.
So she was like the chef on that show, the female chef. She was like the one of the main characters.
I can't remember.
So she's in this, and then a couple other people. Dude, way worth it. It's 8 episodes, and you'll like. I think we racked off 3 the first sitting. Like it was either 2 or 3 the first sitting. Man, it's gripping. It's well paced, and it's a really, really cool story the way that they tell it. And I literally can't recommend it enough. It is The Better Sister on Amazon Prime.
Nice. I'm going to put that on my long list. All right. For mine. So let me give you a little backstory. My kids were asking me about like the latest Disney movie that was coming out a year ago. It was like, I want to say it was like Inside Out 2 or like Luca, I think is some of the more recent like Pixar offerings. And they were like, blah blah blah. We want to go see this movie, and I said to him, "Oh, it's supposed to be not very good." What? What do you mean? And I said, "Yeah, my critics, they said it's not so good." Who? What do you mean your critics? And this is the first time that my daughters had been like exposed to the idea of a critic. Who are your critics? And I was like, oh yeah, listen to all these podcasts about movies and stuff like that. They talk about the movies, and my critics don't think that movie's going to be very good. Well, your critics don't know anything, and they got really mad.
Okay, can I ask a question real quick just for context?
Go ahead.
Were you being truthful about your critics?
Yeah. I was
Okay.
just telling them.
It's just
They were like, yeah, Inside Out 2. And I was like, yeah, my critics didn't like it as much as Inside Out 1. They say it's kind of a slog. And like, oh, we don't understand with your critics, blah, blah, blah. Your critics are stupid, blah, blah. And so because I knew that it would bother them, like I would hit them with the critic thing all the time, like moving forward, like my critics this, my critics that, critics. And it became a whole like meme within our family, like my critics, you know? And what has happened is that like my kids, like most kids, watch like an just a god awful amount of YouTube, and they are watching a lot of YouTube videos that talk about movies. And yeah, it's talking about the movies that they're into and stuff, you know, K-pop demon hunters and whatnot. Um, but it is still critics talking about movies, and I find that my daughters have in a very short amount of time become very adept at discussing movies, about talking about character motivations, plot plot developments, how things work in movies. It's kind of fascinating, like because it was just like a year ago that I was teasing them about, my critics don't think that movie's very good, and now like I hear some of the stuff they're talking about. I say all this as preamble, like my kids are they're on their own finding their way into sort of like a higher level of understanding about like movies. And so last night, after when we sat down to have dinner in the family room, my wife made the amazing like orzo chicken pasta, um, with basil. It was so good. I put on Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. Right? This is. Have you ever seen this movie?
yes, of course.
It's so good. It's so good. And I was just like, fingers crossed. It's in color. It's not black and white.
Yeah, you could do the birds too. That's in color.
um, I'm like, please let the children like be in the right headspace for this movie to hit. And baby, it hit. The kids totally loved Vertigo. Carlotta Valdez, Jimmy Stewart, like man. And it wasn't like, okay, I put it on 2 nights. I put it on Sunday night, and then we finished it last night. Um, but on Sunday night, after Mandy and I went to bed, the kids went to bed, we went to bed. I said, I was thinking about that movie because the song popped up on my Spotify or whatever from a record that I listened to. I feel like I've talked about this record with you. Harvey Danger, Where Have All the Merrymakers Gone?
Yeah, what's the big song from that?
Flagpole
Sitta.
Sitta. I was in the
Yeah,
lines, was
yeah,
looking into the mirror.
yeah.
Well,
Flagpole
the
Sitta.
the opening song on that record is called Carlotta Valdez, and Carlotta Valdez is the name of the woman that Kim Novak is obsessed with in Vertigo. And he basically like that song like lays out the entire plot of the movie. So we had watched like the first like third of the movie on Sunday night, and when we went to bed, I said, the whole reason I thought of that movie is because this song popped up. You got to hear these lyrics, and I played the lyrics for Mandy, and she was like, "Oh wow, like that is like it's all about the movie. It's so cool." So I'm gonna kind of give a double recommendation here, and I'll wrap this up. And my recommendation is number one, the movie Vertigo by Alfred Hitchcock. It's a timeless classic. It's so freaking good. It's so intriguing. The performances are great. Everything about it's great. It's just fascinating and just super fun. And the other one is the opening track off of the Harvey Danger record, Where Have All the Merrymakers Gone? This is the record. They were basically a one-hit wonder. Their song was Flagpole Sitter. I'm
Sitta.
not sick. Flagpole Sitter. I'm not sick, but I'm not well. And I'm so high because I'm in hell.
Definitely saw them at HF Festival.
Nice. I never saw them, but that's a good record. I like that whole album front to back. There's actually a song on there that absolutely reminds me of our dad, called Jack the Lion. But the opening track, it's like just total, like absolute, like thinking man's punk rock. It's called Carlotta Valdez. Check it out sometime. Harvey Danger, Alfred Hitchcock, and
You got to do Rear Window.
oh, we've already been talking about it. Mandy said there's a whole bunch of Hitchcock available on the streaming. So yeah,
Rear Window and The Birds, also solid.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And Psycho, of course.
I tell you what, man, Psycho. God, that movie terrified me as a child.
Terrified me as an adult. And that is all for this week. Join us next week for full coverage of the remainder of the Tour de France Femmes Avec Zwift and the Classica San Sebastian. Until then, for my brother Justin, I'm Matt Harper. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll join us again soon on another ride beyond the slipstream. Say it, Justin.
Allez.
Beyond the Slipstream is a production of Harperama. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please like and subscribe, smash that button, leave a 5-star review, and most importantly, tell all your friends about us. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time. Allez!